Welcome to a new episode from Perfect English Podcast. Today we're going to talk about families. And we're going to talk about common expressions we can use when we want to talk about family. So let's get to it. First, let's start with family relationships. Sociologists talk about nuclear and extended families. So what is the difference between nuclear and extended families? A nuclear family is just parents and children, while an extended family is a wider network including grandparents, cousins, etc. And we hear the word close relatives and distant relatives. Well, what is the difference between close relatives and distant relatives? Close relatives are those like parents, children, brothers, or sisters, while distant relatives are people like second cousins. And what is the meaning of second cousins? These are the children of a cousin of your mother or father, or distant cousins, even further away from that. Now we have the word close or immediate family, and that refers to people who are your nearest blood relatives. For example, you can say, I don't have much close or immediate family. You can say, she is a distant cousin of mine. She's not a blood relative. Close can also be used to mean that the relationship is a very strong one. For example, we are a very close family. Or we can say, we are a very close-knit family. And we have some adjectives we can use when we want to talk about a family. These adjectives are loving, respectable, or dysfunctional, which means unhappy, not working in a healthy way. For example, we can say, Henry came from a respectable family, so Ella's parents felt happy about the marriage. You hear the expression late husband and late wife. What does that mean? Well, simply, someone's late husband or late wife is one who has died. We also hear the expression an estranged husband or wife. An estranged husband or wife is one who lives in a different place and has a difficult relationship with their husband or wife. They may be having a trial separation and may eventually decide to get a divorce. In some cases, it can be a bitter or an acrimonious divorce, and that means a divorce full of anger, arguments, and bad feeling. Now, we say a person's ex-husband or ex-wife, but what does that mean? The ex-husband or ex-wife is a man or a woman that she or he used to be married to. Now there's more. Children whose parents have separated or divorced are said to come from a broken home. If their family is a strong, loving one, it can be called a stable home. So we can have a broken home or a stable home. But there's another one as well. If it is a poor one, not having the things that are necessary for a pleasant life, such as enough money, food, or good living conditions, it can be called a deprived home. And we also have a common expression, and that is confirmed bachelor. A confirmed bachelor is a man who seems to have no intention of ever marrying. That is a confirmed bachelor. And now we will move to focus more on parents and children and learn about some expressions that we use when it comes to this. Now first, we have the expression start a family. For example, we say they are hoping to start a family soon. And make no mistake, we don't say begin a family. Begin and start might have the same meaning, but we don't use it when we want to talk about starting a family. But it is a common mistake that people make. They say, I want to begin a family. Remember, it is always start a family. And the next expression is to have children. We say, for example, I'd like to have 3 children. Again, some people might make the mistake of using get instead of have. So they say, I'd like to get 3 children. Well, that is so different, and the meaning changes. If you want to have children, use the verb have, don't use the verb get. And we can also say, expect a baby. For example, Astrid is expecting a baby. While this might mean that she is waiting for a baby to come, that doesn't mean that you can use the words wait for a baby. Remember to always say that she is expecting, not she is waiting for. And when the baby comes, we say have a baby. For example, Alyssa had her baby yesterday. And pay attention, we don't say get a baby. Now, especially get is a common problem because people tend to use get all the time. Well, get is obviously a versatile verb that can be used in a lot of meanings, but you have to be careful. Do not use get everywhere and try always to find an alternative, because the alternative of get is either the right choice and get is the wrong one, or it could be the stronger choice. Don't use get everywhere in your conversation. Some people use get for almost everything. Well, it might work in some cases, but it will make your conversation a little bit weaker and mistaken in some places. Now, let's continue with the expressions we are talking about for parents and children. We say the baby is due. For example, we say the baby is due next week. And what does that mean? It means that the baby is expected to arrive next week. The baby is due next week. We also have the expression single parent or single mother. For example, we say it's hard being a single parent. Maybe either an unmarried parent or a divorced parent. And we also have the expression raise or bring up children or a family. For example, Violet had to bring up 4 young children on her own. Now just notice that raise a family is more common in American English than it is in British English. And now for one more expression. Apply for custody of and give or grant custody. For example, the father applied for custody of the children, but the judge gave or granted custody to the mother. What is the meaning of custody then? Custody is the legal right or duty to care for a child after its parents have separated or died. And we have the expression provide for your family. For example, Nico works very long hours to provide for his family. And when we say provide for your family, that means to earn enough money to support your family. And finally, we have the expression set up home. Set up home. For example, we live with my mom now, but we'll set up home on our own soon. And when we say we'll set up home on our own soon, that means to start an independent life in one's own flat or house. I hope you've understood all the expressions we talked about today, and I hope you can use them in your conversations to come. Thank you for listening to Perfect English Podcast. This is your host, Danny. I'll see you in the next episode.